Xbox is breaking the internet. Starfield is breaking the internet. Xbox exclusive Starfield is breaking the internet. And I think this all bodes well. I think Starfield is the game that Xbox wants it to be. It's clear that it is the generational game for Xbox. It's its focus. It's going to sell Game Pass. It's going to sell consoles. It's Bethesda's generational game, and Xbox now owns Bethesda. And that's breaking a lot of people's minds. Let's be honest. We've seen the bad takes out there. This weekend, we had even more bad takes. We had bad takes in response to bad takes. And here's the thing. Why is this happening? Like, we're getting more and more of these people who just seem to be anti-Xbox overall or anti-Starfield, or really hoping that Starfield is going to fail. I think people's minds are broken. That's it. I think when you go so long, let's be honest. Xbox for a generation, for a decade, let's say a decade, has not had this level of game on its console since the 360. That's it. And so when that happens, people's reality becomes this. PlayStation, for instance, PlayStation is where the best games are. And all of a sudden a game comes along that is on the Xbox and not on PlayStation, that comes from Xbox, that doesn't come from PlayStation, that is one of the best games, that looks like it's going to be one of the best games of this console generation. That's going to break people's minds, and it has broken people's minds. Here is an example, and we've got response. Bethesda head of publishing responds to some of these bad takes. Here is the bad take of the weekend. You've probably seen this. You've probably seen people talking about it. This is from Twitter. This is from Grums. Now, Grums is a developer who claims he worked on the original World of Warcraft. I only say claims because I've not confirmed that he has myself. I'm sure he has. I'm not saying that he's lying there at all. I've actually followed Grums for a while on Twitter. He has been an interesting follow on Twitter. He always has some really interesting insight when it comes to different aspects of game development. But I would say over the last 3 months, his takes have increasingly become bad. They've been increasingly become bitter. They've become anti-Xbox. They've become ridiculous when it comes to things of Xbox. It's honestly been pretty disappointing. But I do think here's an example of someone whose mind is broken. Whose mind is broken by this shift of Xbox, of Starfield, of the success that is about to come. Now watch it doesn't. Watch Starfield this is all a ruse and it's not that great. Egg on my face. But he's broke. I don't know how else to describe it. And there's a lot of people like this on the internet. There's a lot of media companies like this, from IGN to Game Rant. We're going to go over those here in a second. But here's what he has to say. The physiognomy, I looked that up. It just means design. The outward design of something. The physiognomy of start screens. The start screen of a game can reveal a lot about how rushed the team was and how much pride they took in their work. Ouch. He's basically saying that Bethesda didn't take pride in their work on Starfield. That's just insulting. Like, this is what I'm talking about. This is that level of breaking. You can say, like, hey, I don't really like the design of this start screen. Here's what I don't like about it. Here's what I do like about it. But you're essentially saying that the Bethesda team, the Starfield team, doesn't take pride in their work in that one sentence. Mind-boggling. He says Starfield's start screen either shows hasty shipping deadlines by a passionate team overworked or a team that didn't care. So one or the other. It can't be deliberate at all. It can't at all be deliberate, which is absolutely ridiculous. So Pete Hines smacked back at this and he says, and he's the head of publishing for Bethesda. He says, or they designed what they wanted and that's been our menu for years and was one of the first things we settled on. Having an opinion is one thing. Questioning how the developers care because you would have done it differently is highly unprofessional coming from another dev. And that dev, in quotes, is the SmackDown. Oh my goodness. Even Jez Corden gets in on the action. He's the editor over at WindowsCentral.com. He says he's not a dev, he's a clown. And I'm telling you, his takes have become increasingly bad. And I've been asking myself why, because we've seen more and more of this over time. Again, I think it's a shift. I think the shift, when you go so long, Xbox is always expected to be the number 2 or the number 3 behind Nintendo. And all of a sudden, Xbox isn't. It's going to break people's minds. It's going to break people's perception of the world. And it is. An even better SmackDown, in my mind. This is Andrea Piccini takes this or retweets this rather from Autumn. To the weirdos concerned about how Starfield's menu screen looks, did you have a problem with any of these? And she shows off, you've got Fallout New Vegas, and Skyrim. And I can't click in on it because this is just a screenshot of it. It's not actually a retweet here, but they all look the same. In other words, Bethesda specifically designs their their menus like this. That actually I think is the best SmackDown. Absolutely. Now here's the thing. Maybe this is on purpose. Maybe this is just the reality of 2023 social media that we live in, where you are rewarded for takes that cause controversy. And to this point, Grums does follow up later with this tweet. Thanks for all the new follows. You all must be start screen aficionados. 22,000 views. How many views did his first one get? His first one got 8.9 million views. 8.9 million views. So there's one of two reasons. There was one of two options here. You either are broken, which I think is happening to a lot of people in gaming right now with this shift. The Xbox is not third place anymore. The Xbox is leading the way. The Xbox is innovating, and that's breaking people's minds. Or you're smart on social media and you're creating controversy for the sake of creating controversy. I think it's probably a little bit. I think it's you're crazy. I think it's that you're broken. And as a result, you're benefiting. But let's be honest with ourselves. This is the reality of social media. 8.9 million views. He probably got a ton of follows from that. And it's the sticking point. It's the trouble with social media. How do you encourage real discussion and not hot takes for views? Hot takes for views, a lot of people utilize it as a strategy. Now, proof that some of you might be asking, you keep saying that people are broken. What's proof that people are broken? Well, these are news stories that have dropped over the last couple years here. This is actually from Andrea Piccinini. I think I pronounced her name correctly. I apologize if I didn't. There. You can read her name, Andrea Piccinini. She compiled these. Here is the first gaming media outlet that already settled to give Starfield a lower score even before playing it. And when you click on this image, these are all headlines, all at different days over on Game Rant website, negatively talking about Starfield. Look at for instance, look at this second headline here. Starfield's procedurally generated planets may already pale in comparison to Star Wars Jedi Survivor Universe. Going the hard sci-fi route for Starfield means its character creator might not hold a candle to Saints Row. And you can see, so number one, I think that this is, again, the reality of internet news reporting. In 2023, it's clear they're trying to tie trends. So Saints Row is probably trending. Star Wars Jedi was probably trending at that time. And you're trying to tie Starfield is trending. So you're trying to maximize views there. But again, in doing so, you're just getting bad takes. Bad, terrible takes. I think it's a little bit of both. Like I said, I think it's the reality of modern 2023, social media, internet news reporting. And also, I think it's a reality of just trying to get clicks on social media, etc., and people's minds being broken, rather. So that's unfortunate. So don't forget. Now, here's the thing. This would be one thing if this was the only interest, or if this plus Grums was the only thing. But then last week, you had IGN who popped a video, and their video was, in fact, let's go to the headline of this video. This was the video, the biggest games for the rest of 2023. And in these videos last week, they listed games. So Lies of P, this is coming September 19th. This is one of the biggest games of 2023. It's coming, they said, to PlayStation 5 and PC. Guess where else it's coming? Xbox. They didn't mention that. They did it with Mortal Kombat 1. You can see down here, right-hand corner, PS5 and PC. Guess what? It's also coming to Xbox. Did I say Xbox One? No, it's also coming to Xbox. Sorry. Alan Wake 2, PS5 and PC. They forgot Xbox. The thing is, was this, I would be willing to bet this was probably just an oversight. You're doing it. You're probably not paying attention. However, it does show that if it was an oversight, whoever put this video together, the team that put this video together, clearly are not Xbox people. They're not representative. They're not represented at IGN the same way that PlayStation guys are represented there, or the PlayStation brand, or the Nintendo brand, for instance. These are big misses. Now, this was updated. This was corrected, but that's a big miss. Again, I think here's the thing. I'm an Xbox guy. I'm an Xbox fanboy, you may say. Put that in quotes. But being an Xbox guy, there is a definite bias towards towards PlayStation in mainstream media. And rightly so. PlayStation has done well the last generation. Again, like I said at the beginning of this video, Xbox has not had a world-class game of the year, game of the generation type of game launch exclusively in its ecosystem since the 360 era. And now we are with Starfield. And I think it's breaking people's minds. Now, we've gone over these bad takes. We've gone over these mistakes from media companies. But the worst take of the day comes from someone who I respect, someone whose writing I really enjoy. But I would be dishonest if I weren't to mention his terrible take. And that's Paul Tassi. And this take, in my mind, is actually worse than Grum's take. So let's go. Let's just recap. Grum's original take, the start stream of a game is foolish. It looks bad, he said. It looks like the team rushed it. They're overworked or they didn't care. Paul Tassi's take, then, in response to this, is when you look up a word some 100K follower idiot tried to use to sound smart, and it's most commonly linked with Nazi race science. So Paul Tassi basically is calling Grums a Nazi. He really is. And you can say, no, he's not. He's just saying that word is linked to it. Bro, we know what you're doing there. This is ridiculous. This is actually worst take of the day. Paul Tassi, clearly Paul Tassi is someone that you can't disagree with. Clearly. This is like when you disagree with someone, this is just, you could tear this take by Grums apart 50 different ways. And the way that you decide to go with it is by saying, oh, he uses the word physiognomy. And there's a blog somewhere. Look at this. Look how weak this logic is. I don't even know what this article is or what he's looking up here, but in the bottom paragraph here, those who in one blog, the very last sentence, in one blog, for example, a contemporary white nationalist claimed that, quote, physiognomy is real and needs to come back as a legitimate field of scientific inquiry. And so what does Paul Tassi do? Paul Tassi says, oh, a white nationalist used this somewhere. Nazis used to use this word. Grums is using a word of Nazis. And so you're linking guilt by association, which is absolutely disgusting, Paul Tassi, and it's ridiculous. And if this is the state of gaming and gaming coverage in 2023, our society is in trouble, folks. You expect this in politics? This is in politics all the time. Those who disagree with me are my enemy. I think that's foolish, but at least that's the political arena. That's politics is dirty. Okay, this is gaming coverage, bro. He used the word physiognomy. Whoop-de-doo. That doesn't make him a Nazi. And Paul Tassi, and some of you might be saying, well, he didn't actually call him a Nazi. He's saying that bro, you're calling him a Nazi. You're linking him to Nazism, which is absolutely disgusting and terrible. And Paul Tassi should be ashamed of himself. I think he should apologize. I think Grums should demand that he apologize. Honestly, that's disgusting, Paul Tassi. But let's end on a good note, shall we? And I'm not here to be all preachy or anything like that. I read Paul Tassi. Paul Tassi had an interesting article that dropped today that was basically over on Forbes that was basically about, hey, how is Xbox going to measure success with Starfield in the Game Pass era? Which is an interesting article. Paul Tassi has interesting takes and interesting writings. This is not one of them. This is actually the worst take of the weekend. This is far worse than Grum's take, in my opinion. Let me know if you disagree with that. I don't. Obviously, this is my take, but I'd be curious at who disagrees with that. Where am I wrong? Am I missing something here? But let's end on a positive note. This comes from Darius Fears. He says, based off bloggers who are currently reviewing the game, Starfield has no noticeable or crazy bugs and looks absolutely beautiful for Creation Engine 2. Apparently, he says the game starts slow because Starfield has a ton of mechanics you should learn, but after the tutorial, the game opens up big time. This game is about to make us go crazy. I think it's already made us go crazy based off of the conversations that happened on Twitter this weekend between gaming journalists, game developers, and the like. However, this is just rumor. This is just according to Darius, what he's hearing. But if this is true, Oh, I could not wait. I cannot be more excited. Now, we do know that Starfield was delayed by Xbox, actually. Microsoft requested it be delayed, and for good reason. It sounds like if there's no crazy bugs, Bethesda's classically known with their giant open worlds to have some crazy bugs out there, and I'm sure we're going to get one or two. But if it's as polished, if it's more polished than any other Bethesda previous release, we're sitting pretty. We're sitting pretty. So very excited for this. Are you excited for Starfield? Why do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Do you think that the shift in gaming is breaking people? I genuinely do. I really do. Let me know in the comments below. Let me know where I'm right. Let me know where I'm wrong. Let me know without calling me a Nazi. Paul Tassi, bro, come on. You can do better than that. Don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe to this channel. My name is X1 the Gamer. We cover Xbox news and drama, clearly, all the time right here on this channel. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.